everyone, welcome back to my channel. It has been a little while since I have said those words. It has been a little while since I have made a YouTube video. So I will be honest, I was a little naive in thinking that I would be able to make YouTube videos throughout PA school and like run an Instagram account and be involved and be in a relationship. I don't know where I thought I had all that free time. Basically, I just ran out of time every time I was trying to make a video, and by the time I sat down and tried to make one, we had just started the next module and I started getting overwhelmed, and then it just all got pushed aside. But we are now at the end of didactic year, so I'm hoping that maybe I have a little bit more time to sit down and make some more videos. So first I want to say, sorry that this is not like a pretty setup. I don't have my fancy camera, so it's not the greatest quality. I'm doing what I can right now. I am in my surgery module, so we actually have 2 modules left, and it's hospital medicine and surgery. So it's like a 4-week chunk. So the first week is hospital med, then 2 weeks surgery, and then the last week is hospital med. So on this Friday coming up, it's going to be my last ever full module exam. And the week after that, we have like one group exam and then one take-home exam. So basically after that, I'm done with learning all the new material, and then we'll have clinical prep where we get, ready for going to clinical rotations. I have my white coat ceremony, which I'll kind of talk about later in another video. I want to do a video on like that separately and just kind of show my day during my white coat ceremony. And then we start rotations November 8th. So a lot of really fun and exciting things are coming my way, but this also means that I have to now take everything I've learned and really think critically and apply it to cases. And we kind of did that in our emergency medicine rotation. We had ER sims, so we went and saw 3 patients within an hour, which is hilarious because that was so overwhelming to us, but in real life that's like nothing. So at least in the ERs, we're gonna have to get used to that. That's for later us. But that was really 3 patients with totally different complaints, and you had to do everything. You had to remember all the physical exam skills, you had to think of all the differentials, what to order. That's when kind of learns like when to put people on like IV fluids or antibiotics and stuff like that. So that was a lot. So we're getting to that point of year where we have to take everything we've learned and use it to treat people, which duh, that's what PA school is. But when you're just sitting down learning these diseases and like reading and taking notes and stuff, sometimes you forget that you're learning this to treat people, and moments like that and simulations like that really, really remind you. So I definitely want to do a video on like didactic year and like how that is, and kind of go more into depth about that and how I studied and all of that. But just as a recap, since I literally have not made a YouTube video since I started school, as a recap, PA school's hard. I expected it to be hard. Everybody tells me it's gonna be hard, but it's not as hard as I thought it was gonna be, and I think that's mostly because I was online. So I got to make my schedule, I got to watch my lectures whenever I wanted, I didn't have to be on campus every day. We were there just kind of intermittently doing skills. Now we're on campus more, and it's a little hard to be up at certain times, so I'm just not used to it. But once I get in the swing of it, it's not too bad. But I think it was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, but I think that's mostly because of the amount of freedom we had with when we watched lectures, watching lectures, pausing them. I think that was so nice. A question I get asked a lot is what is my favorite part of PA school so far? And I think I don't really have a certain module that I loved the most. I don't have my heart set on any type of medicine that I want to go into. I'm keeping an open mind, especially going into rotations. I don't want to go into them having a mindset of no, I really want to be this PA or this type of PA. So I just really wanted to go in with an open mind. So I think my favorite part of PA school so far is just the learning the hands-on skills, like the lumbar puncture. Obviously we did it on a fake back, but still knowing that I could do that in the future, that's exciting. And just learning how to conduct a full physical exam and know what to look for. And obviously I still have so much to learn, but it's amazing what we have learned in such a short amount of time. Realistically, 1 year is not that much to learn all that medicine, but from what we've learned so far, it's kind of amazing to look at how much we've progressed. It's just so fast. One thing that I really liked, like I said, was the ER simulation. So that was really fun. We got 3, it was standardized patients, and we were with a partner. and we did the whole physical, ordering the labs, all of that. That was like a really, really great experience and kind of taught you how to time manage. And we actually did that for 4 separate days. So we went in there, we had 3 patients for an hour. So we did that for like 4 hours total. And that was such a great experience. I think it was such a good real world type of thing, because usually what we've done so far is go in and just see one patient, but that's not realistic. You need to have in the back of the head that you have other patients and you have time constraints. So I think that was super helpful, and I know that's going to be extremely helpful going forward into my clinical rotations. So another experience that I really liked is during, I believe it was our endocrine module, because it was a diabetes patient. We got to go see a standardized patient by ourselves. There was like the proctor in the room, but usually we're kind of paired up, or we play. So like if I was partnered with my roommate would be the patient, I would be the provider, and then we would switch. But for this one, he had standardized patients for each of us. And I felt like a real provider with someone I didn't know. And she was like talking to me like all the real patients do. A lot of students that we have sometimes get like nervous, or they kind of just say their part, but they don't act like a lot of real patients do. But this lady did. She was kind of like joking with me and stuff, and that's how patients are. They're very casual. So that's why it felt so much like the office visits that I would see when I was a medical scribe. So I felt like a provider. And I got to like educate her about diabetes and like have a conversation with her about it and talk about medications and stuff, because a lot of that, like that one specifically, was about patient education, and diabetes is like a huge patient education, topic. That's something that needs a lot of education, a lot of talking with your patients. So I think that was such a unique experience that we were able to do that and be able to find your words to explain things to patients, not use medical terms and stuff like that. So I think those types of simulations really help you learn how to connect with people who don't know don't have like a medical background or don't know the medical terms. You learn how to like break it down or explain things in a better way that they understand more. So I really liked that. Now, on the other hand of what I liked, what I didn't like, funny enough, was the ER simulation. That was very stressful, and although it had so many benefits, it was also just a little frustrating because we had to do things kind of that we had never learned before. We were supposed to write an order for IV fluids, and we hadn't learned how to do that, or like how much fluid did you give for, we didn't learn that. So those like simulations, half of it was to get better at patient care experience, like communicating, bedside manner, all that stuff, taking a physical, the stuff we already know. And then half of it was like a learning thing. And I'm the type of person that like if I don't get taught it beforehand and then I go and experience it and I kind of look stupid, I hate that feeling. I like being able to learn it first and then go and do it, which I think is like a normal thing. So it was a little frustrating to be like, when they ask you, okay, what about this? And I have to say, I don't know, let me look it up. I don't know, let me look it up. And I'm sure that's how it's going to be in clinical rotations a lot. So I think that was, as much as I didn't like that and how uncomfortable it made me, I think that's a really good thing to prepare me for clinical rotations, so I can get in the mindset of being like, you know what, I don't know, that's a really good question. Let me go look it up and I'll get that back to you, or something like that, because that happens all the time on clinical rotations. So I guess that did help me prepare for that. And also, finally, I don't really feel all that comfortable with prescriptions and sometimes diagnosing certain things. Some poem things, I still need to think of differentials. There's a lot of things that I know will be strengthened during my clinical rotations, but it also just scares you a smidge that you don't feel as prepared as you should feel. But I mean, everyone's nervous to start rotations, so I think that's really normal. But I could definitely use a little work on with medications because I'm not that great at them. Antibiotics, a lot of them kind of it just jumbles. We learned that so early on. It was like a full year ago. And I know it keeps coming up, and I know some of them, and I know like they're general things, but specific like illnesses that require specific antibiotics sometimes I don't know it as quickly as other people. So that's something that I want to work on and that I definitely hope is strengthened in my clinical rotations. I still don't have, like I said earlier, I don't have a preference of what I want to go into yet, keeping an open mind. I don't think I want to do ortho. I think that's the only one that I was like, I don't really enjoy this, and I don't think I will enjoy this. So I think I might be a little biased towards ortho. I was a kinese major. I did a lot of like classes with athletic training and sports related things and that, all that, and that was never my thing, so I don't think I'm going to do that in my career. I think what I would really like to do, possibly, this is probably like a later on down the road type of thing, is work at like 2 different places in different specialties. So like work urgent care, family med, emergency medicine, something like that, and then do maybe derm a couple days of the week too. So you can do a little bit of both. But obviously, I have so much time to figure that out, so many rotations to go through, so I'm not pigeonholing myself into one specialty yet. Another thing I was able to do this past year that was really fun was I actually ran Instagram pages for both my PA program, like the whole program, and then also for our pre-PA club. So if you don't know, MBKU, the PA school I go to, has a pre-PA club. So that's for any pre-PA anywhere, and you actually get paired with a PA student, and they just kind of help mentor you through the PA journey. And just let you know, MBKU does not have undergrad students, so it's not just for MBKU students, it's for anybody, because no MBKU student needs to be in that club. They're mentors, they're not mentees, because they're already in school. So if you are looking for some sort of mentorship or anything, I highly recommend it. The applications open around October every year, and it is a yearly thing, so you have to come kind of quick and soon, because the spots fill up. But even if you get there a little bit late, or you watch this late and it's too late to apply, they still have events that are open to everybody, so I would really recommend checking that out. But yeah, so I was able to run both their Instagram accounts and just kind of produce all like the fun little graphics that I make on my channel, my Instagram. So that was really fun, and I think that was a nice creative outlet, but I still felt like I was like getting involved and helping out my classmates and helping out my program. So I definitely recommend getting involved if you can, or if you want to, in PA school. It doesn't need to be, you don't need to be the president, you don't need to do anything crazy, but I think getting involved in, having a role or doing some sort of leadership is, I think it's a really good experience in PA school, and you get to continue building those skills that will be helpful in your career. But yeah, that was just a quick overview of kind of how PA school in my first year went. I will do more videos on that. Like I said, I'll do like a studying video, or kind of more in-depth videos about certain aspects of like my clinical year. And I'm super excited for clinical prep. We're doing a lot more hands-on things, like learning how to like cast and do all those fun things, do the ACLS and the BLS, and there's a lot of things happening in this like the next couple months, and then our white coat ceremony in October, and then clinical rotations in November. So it is all coming out fast, and it's crazy how time flew by, and I'm sure that if this year flew by like that fast, that the next year and a few months are gonna just absolutely whiz on by. So it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But okay, now we're on to the second part of the video, which maybe some of you are here for, is my PA school essentials. And this will just be for the didactic portion, the actual in-class portion. And then after I like get in the gist of clinicals, I'll do one for that. But these are the things that I have used throughout my didactic year and have been an absolute, like, these are like the things that I could not live without didactic year. And this is just unique to me. I'm not saying that you need to have any of these to be successful or to pass or to get the PA through PA school, but these are what helped me, and I know I loved watching these types of videos and learning what other people use. So I'm hoping that maybe this helps some of you. And everything that I'm going to talk about or mention is actually linked below, so you can check that out on my Amazon storefront. But without ado, here are my PA school essentials for didactic year. So my first one I can't show you because I'm actually recording on it, is my iPad. I have the iPad, I think it's like a 3rd generation iPad Pro. It's the 12.9 inch, 256 gigabytes. And I absolutely love my iPad, and I have the Apple Pencil too, the 2nd generation one. And you don't need to get the brand, like, the most expensive, most brand new iPad. Any of them would work. I just really recommend them. It's nice because I have my PowerPoint like slides on my thing, and I have my lectures on one side, or if you're in person, which I'm sure most PA schools are now, you can just directly annotate on those slides. So I never typed notes. To me, that was like a little distracting. I liked doing a listen through first, and as they were saying, talking, if they said something that wasn't already on the slides, I would just annotate directly on the slides. And that was just so much easier than writing it on paper or typing it. So that was hands down such a game changer in my studying, and I wish I had an iPad in undergrad. I think it would have been so helpful to have, especially for like OChem or just chemistry in general, because I would lug around whiteboards with me all, to draw out everything, or even in anatomy, I would draw out structures and like just carry around these whiteboards, and If I had an iPad, it would have made things so much easier, so I highly recommend it. That being said, I still do have my old MacBook Air, and the only thing I do on that is like type if I have assignments that require typing. I do have the Keyfolio on my iPad, but I don't like typing on that as much as just my normal laptop. So I would keep, if you have a laptop, I would say keep it if you want, or if you can afford to get new both, that's great. But if you have like an old laptop that still works and you just want to get an iPad for PA school, that's what I did, and it was perfect. And I also take my exams on my laptop because the software that we use for our exams is kind of a little bit annoying to work on the iPad. So I just stuck with doing that on my laptop. But I use my iPad probably 75% of the time and my laptop like 25% of the time, if that. My iPad comes with me everywhere. I love that thing. All right, so next, related to the iPad, I have a paper feel screen protector. So it is a normal like screen protector for your iPad, but it makes the screen feel like paper. And I know that sounds really weird, but when you use the Apple Pencil, when you first get your iPad and it's super shiny, it like makes that clicking noise, like how if you have your phone and you kind of like, it makes that noise. Whereas if you have the paper one, it just feels like you're using a pencil on paper. Like it feels like a normal writing, which I think was just so much nicer. It doesn't make that noise. It doesn't click as much. It adds a little bit of like texture, so your pencil like grabs a little bit more, so it's closer to your actual handwriting. I really recommend it. I got like a 2-pack for like $14, and I've only used this one so far for the full year, and I've been on my iPad constantly, and it still looks like it's brand new. So if you kind of get annoyed by like the texture of your your screen, and you are gonna write on it a lot, I would highly recommend at least trying it out, because I recommended it to so many people and a lot of them really like it. And I even recommended it to my professor, and he really liked it. So would definitely recommend checking that out. I think it helped with my handwriting, and overall it just felt nicer to write on my iPad with. So this next one is kind of a given. Everybody says you should have some PA school, and I agree. I'm not sure if this is backwards, it probably is, but this is the Pants Prep Pearls. So what this book is, essentially it's kind of like a synopsis of every single disease. So there's not practice questions. It doesn't really like teach you anything aside from the bare minimum of each disease. They have like a good amount of information, but they don't really talk about like the pathophysiology or kind of like help you understand a disease if you're not fully understanding why it happens. It kind of breaks it down. Like I can read it for you. So for like example, for BPH, which is benign prostatic hyperplasia, was the first one that popped up. It'll show you like the clinical manifestations, a diagnosis, management. It'll give you like some medication, surgical management, just like the basic symptoms, like etiology, so causes of that, how to manage it. So it gives you like this very important things, and there are a lot of testable things obviously, but I would definitely recommend watching your material, understanding the material from your program first. And then I personally use this once I am okay with information and I just need to kind of read over the basics to remember kind of like what labs to order or what diagnostic imaging is like the gold standard. So it definitely is like the jump out at you big facts, but I would not use that fully to learn. I would definitely try to understand the diseases before you use that. But that being said, I would still definitely recommend it. And a lot of people actually go and get it. It has like the ring around it. I can't find it. I can't think right now. It's late. I'm tired. But they will get it where it's like binded. And so it's easier to like flip and write in. I did not do that. I got lost in PA school and just one module after another, and before I knew it I was almost done. So I didn't do that, but I would definitely recommend. And if I end up using this to study a lot for the actual like the pants, then I may consider doing that. But as of right now, I don't really have an issue, and I've taken it to the beach with me and studied, but definitely recommend. All right, so the next one, I know I kind of talked down on whiteboards just a few minutes ago, but if you are a person who likes to have like things like just physically in your hand and you don't have an iPad or you don't want to get one and that helps you, I love whiteboards. I used them religiously in undergrad. I would write down like the tracings that we had. I would draw everything out for chemistry, right? Drawing all those rings and everything. It was so helpful. So the one I have linked is big. They also have like smaller ones too if you want to just carry them around. But when you're at home, it's nice to have like a big, big whiteboard and just have so much space to write. A lot of my classmates will write out like the antibiotic lists or the medication lists all over it, and like that helps them memorize that. I personally would write down like tracings of diseases. So I don't know if you have this in like anatomy, but we would have like tracings of, I can't even think, like for like the digestive system, like the tracing of how it goes down the digestive system, or I don't know, just writing out things sometimes is super helpful. So I know one of my roommates is really like that. She has a big old whiteboard and she loves it. So if you're hands-on, I would definitely recommend a big whiteboard at home. And if you like to study elsewhere, then just like a little whiteboard to take with you. But they're still helpful even in PA school. So for the next thing, I recommend having a planner. And if not a physical planner, use Google Calendar, something like that, because I'm in the module system, so we don't have as many exams and stuff, but there's a lot of important dates or things that are due or stuff that if I miss could be really bad. So keeping those all like in tabs and just having like one calendar that has everything on there is just so nice to have. And I know if you're here, you probably are that type of person and you're type A. And you're probably very organized, but if you're not, PA school might be the time to change that, because especially if you're not a module system, you'll have a lot of exams and quizzes and everything, and you want to make sure that you're on top of it. And what I've seen too is people like would create like a whole huge list of every single exam that you'll have for the rest of didactic if you have that available to you, and they'll just go and check it off so you have kind of like motivation that you're getting close to your last few exams. My favorite way to stay organized is checklists. So I will do like a checklist for the week, like big things I need to get done, assignments that are coming up soon, that type of stuff. And then I'll make like a checklist for each day the night before of things that I want to get accomplished. So whether that's like I will do like my Quizlets and I'll do them by lecture. So I'll write out the lectures that I want to make Quizlets for the next day. I'll write out like what lectures I need to watch or whatever. But checklists for me are my favorite thing. I have the app Good Notes on my iPad, and I just make the electronic checklist. So I don't actually have a physical planner. I've come to the realization that as many beautiful planners as I'll buy, I'll never actually use them. So the Good Notes planner, and like they have templates for that, that's perfect for me. It works for me. I actually check it and I stick with it. So it doesn't matter if your planner is digital or if it's a physical planner, but stay organized in PA school, trust me. And then one last little final thing that I just kind of threw in there is blue blocking glasses. And I know some people say that that doesn't really help them. It could be placebo, I'm not sure. But my glasses have them, and I've been literally staring at a screen for probably at least 6+ hours, like a day for the past year. And I notice a difference when I don't wear them. I don't know if it's because I'm prone to headaches and maybe it for sure is a placebo. I don't know. But it does seem to help. I have the actual blue blocking ones on my prescription, and I have just a few that I got from Amazon that I linked below. And for some reason, my eyes feel a little bit less tired. I get fewer headaches, and my vision has gone down significantly since starting PA school. Honestly, since like the end of undergrad, my vision has drastically declined. And I'll notice a long day, if I don't wear my glasses, my vision will be even worse. But if I wear my glasses with the blue blocking, my vision's still not great, but it's better. My eyes are a little bit less tired, so they don't strain as much to read the words. So they're not for everybody, but if you have tried them or if you're interested in trying them, Amazon has a few that are pretty cheap. I link some below. And I recommend maybe even just trying like the one pair that you can get for the cheapest and seeing if it does something for you. It was worth a shot. I tried it and I actually liked it, so could be worth it. All right, so that was a much longer video than I anticipated it to be. I just haven't really made it in a while, so it all just comes out. I end up talking a lot. I ramble a lot. If you've watched my other videos, you might have caught on to that. But that being said, I will be trying to make more videos in the near future as I hopefully have a little bit more time. And my goal is to make one video, even if it's just like a summary video of every single one of my rotations and kind of talk about the highs and lows and if I enjoyed it, if I can see myself working in it and all of that. So that will be once rotations start in November. So I'm hoping that I find time to do that. I'm sure I will, because I think you have sometimes a little bit more downtime than you do in didactic, because this year, you're spent every single time you have like free, you're like, I should be studying right now. And you still have that in clinical, but it's a little bit different, I've heard. So I'm crossing my fingers that I'll be able to make some more videos. And at the very least, I really do want to make a white coat video and show you my experience that day and my first time ever putting on a white coat. And I don't know, it's gonna be super exciting. Really, really looking forward to that day. It's something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. So that's gonna be a good day. But anyways, thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for watching this. And if you have any questions, you can always DM me on my Instagram at whitecoatchasing. And I hope you're having a great morning, day, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching this, and hope to see you on the next video.